Thank you for asking this question, Avik. It's mindset, in my opinion, is everything.
Yeah.
And there is a reason why one has a specific mindset. So before I dive into your question, I just wanted to share that everyone who is working with a specific mindset is doing because of a reason. They have a story. And if you, as a parent, as a coach, as a manager, as a friend, if you are looking to change someone's mindset, first of all, we need to understand their story, why they are doing the way they are doing. Once we know their story, then we can put our perspective and explain to them the other side of the story. What happens is there are certain things which are in their blind spot. They could not see. And what they cannot see, they cannot see. I mean, there is no two thoughts about it. So for us to have a growth mindset, we have to change our perspective from a fixed person to a person who is variable, who is moving. And one of the basic difference between a fixed mindset individual and a growth mindset individual is a growth minded person is a listener. A growth minded person is someone who will take action, versus a fixed mindset person. They will have answers for all your questions. They will have answers for all the reasons that you are giving or they are giving to you. So they, unfortunately, they are not a good listener. So if you want to know that are you a growth minded person or a fixed minded, just ask these things. Do you listen? Do you try new things? Are you open for change? If the answers to these questions are yes, there is a very likelihood that you are a growth minded person. Now, here I would tell you one more thing, Avik, is I don't feel that there is either you are a growth minded or a fixed minded. There is no such thing in my opinion. There are certain aspects where we may be fixed. We may have a collaborative approach. So it's okay to have both approach, but depending on how many times are you taking a growth minded approach or a fixed minded approach will determine the outcome. I firmly believe the outcome that we want is in our hand. We can make things happen. There is no one else responsible for our success except us. So if we want success, if we want to live the life that we deserve, then we need to take action. We need to take consistently positive action.
Exactly. That's true. So also, like in a fast-paced and constantly evolving world, so it's essential also to simplify our thoughts and the expectations. But how can individuals identify and adapt their mindsets to distill the complex worldviews into digestible informations?
So there are different approaches. One of the approach that I follow here is read. Nothing is complex in my opinion. The things become complex when our mind is thinking it is complex. So it's again going back to the mindset. Whenever we do something for the first time, we always have that fear that, okay, will I be able to do it? Is this something that I would like? Those questions are in our mind. But once we are able to achieve that particular thing, either it could be a food, either it could be an activity, then we feel accomplished. We feel so happy about it. So sometimes things may look more complex when the way you are looking at it, but there are always a simpler way of either understanding things, either listening to a podcast like this, listening to some video. So there are always things that can be made very, very simple. One of the ways that I imply here, Avik, is when things are getting complex for me, I take notes. I jot down those ideas that are becoming complex for me. And as and when I'm progressing, either I talk to right people who can explain that thing in a very simplified manner, or I Google, or I talk to Chat GPT for that matter, and get it simplified. So there are ways to make things simpler, and one of the ways is journaling. So complex thoughts, you journal it down. And there is another concept that I learned. It was introduced by Toyota Engineering Company. The concept of they started with 7 whys, that for every question that comes to your mind, or for anything that you are doing, you should ask yourself the question why you want to do it. And when the answer comes, you ask another why. So 7 times when you ask that why, that's where you go and find the root cause of a problem. So they use it for their improving their efficiency. So similarly, when anything is complex, you need to think why it is complex. Give a reason. Why? So if you do that, there is a very likelihood that we may be able to simplify things without taking anyone's help.
Definitely. That's very well said, for sure. So so like this, we often encounter the risk factors as well that may affect our mental well-being, such as the childhood abuse, or maybe the adverse environmental circumstances, or any genetic things. So how can individuals cope with the impact of these risk factors, and how they can manage the lives like circle or the curveballs?
Yeah. So I think the way I look at it is everything is around the mindset. It's either you are seeing the glass half full, half empty. So when someone is living with the adverse in the background, or the child abuse, we need to change the world the way we are seeing. Sometimes we see the world from our eyes, and we see everywhere there's a problem. But if you change the eyes, or wear a pair of glasses, or you change your perspective, things will be different. So we can always have a mindset that I have this problem, or I have that problem. But if we change the thought process that, hey, there is no problem, everything is in abundance. You look at the life stories of famous sports personalities, Antetokounmpo for Milwaukee, NBA player, Ronaldo. When you look at their autobiography, or you read about them, they were grown up in a very adverse situation.
Yes.
And if they could do it, what they have done, it's amazing. There are many success stories of people who had child abuse, but the way they fought it, the way they are living their life, they are devoted their life to ensure that no other child is being abused, right? So you can always look at things from the perspective that how you can help, how you can support. So it's all about the mindset. I mean, everything, in my opinion, is manageable. And it's easy for me to say, honestly. I have not, unfortunately or fortunately, I've not been into those difficult situations. But whenever I have faced a difficult situation, it's about the mindset that has helped me in coming out of that situation. And it has done miraculous results for me. And some of the people that I know, whom I have coached, whom I have known personally. So it's the mindset. And if you are able to inject positivity to your mind, it will. There is a concept I call in my book called Circle of Happiness, Avik. Okay. And the circle of happiness is you inject positive thoughts, you do positive mind talk, you do positive action, and get positive results. So it's a vicious circle. It will keep moving, and then that's how you will have a happier life for yourself and for your family.
So, exactly.